Hi, my name is Charlie Levine and I'm really excited to be on Mixing It Up today. I got asked to put the things into an interesting utensil, and this is a hat that my dear friend artist Ellie Clark once gifted to me, and I still have it and I love it, and when I'm feeling particularly cool I will go out and wear it. Okay, let's start. Oh, that one jumped out. Let's do that one. Which 3 artists do you think are ones to watch? This is such a great question. The artists that come to my mind immediately are all of my friends, but I think they're already being watched. So I'm going to say there's a brilliant artist called Edie Jo Murray based in Coventry that does some incredibly brilliant, beautiful digital and AR pieces. She's definitely one to watch. Then I might say Gusti Ferro, who is an artist currently studying at the Royal Academy. They are Brazilian, very interesting, doing lots of stuff about public realm, which I'm really into. And then a third who comes to mind. Actually, there's an artist that I don't know personally. I believe they are called Della Goodman, and they do a lot of interesting work on and with buildings, so kind of playing with architecture, looking at line and shape. They're an interesting artist that I myself am watching, so that would be my 3 artists. Can you describe the first piece of artwork you remember seeing? This immediately an artwork comes to mind. This isn't the first piece that I ever saw because I come from one of those really lucky places where my mum and dad used to take me to art galleries a lot when I was younger. But there's a key piece that my dad and I will always talk about, and it was Icon Gallery in Birmingham, and it was their old space, so before where they are now. So I must have been sort of 12, 11. And there was a record player on the middle of the floor with a record with Superman, a vinyl with Superman on it, and it was called Superman Rotating at How Many Rotations Per Second. I can't remember, and I couldn't tell you the artist's name either. But I remember my dad and I at the time sort of going, oh, isn't this amusing, what an artwork. But actually it was one of the first pieces I think that I saw was contemporary, that wasn't kind of your traditional artwork in a museum kind of vibes or in a collection. And actually that humour has stayed with me, and also the confidence of just putting a record player on the middle of the floor, allowing space. It was immediately. Yeah, that was a great piece. Actually, I should try and find out who that was. Yeah, that was the first piece I remember sort of seeing that changed me in some way. Next question. Which 3 curators' galleries do you think are creating the best projects? Can I say these are sort of also just my 3 favourite spaces? Palais de Tokyo in Paris is my dream gallery. It's vast, it's industrial, it's beautiful in its imperfections. The programming there is great. I've seen some really, really amazing shows there. Always something I like to go see when I'm in Paris, and also when it's open, which isn't every day but it's most days, it's open till midnight. And I also love the idea of making art accessible and sort of out of hours for people that perhaps can't go see it within their normal hours. And also just the romance of Paris, going to see an art show at 11 p.m. glorious. So I love Palais de Tokyo. Hayward on the South Bank, specifically the work under Ralph Rogoff, the curator there. Sorry, there's an ambulance going past my house. Ralph Rogoff, curator, director of Hayward Gallery, with such a sense of humour. Some of the exhibitions I've seen there have just life-changing, have just changed how I've approached curating. There was an exhibition called The Invisible Show, which was basically invisible art. Just check it out, amazing, just so good. And then the third one I'd have to say is my dear friends Sluice Art Fair and International Expo. They are directed by an artist called Carl England, and his art practice is this Sluice incarnation. But the work that they do with artist-led culture and initiatives is wonderful to see it celebrated. Again, I love the fact that they tend to use sort of odd spaces, abandoned spaces, unused spaces, soon to be used spaces, and much like Ralph Rogoff, great sense of humour. There's another alarm going off. I'm sorry, it's all kicking off in Southeast London today. 3. So they're my 3 for sure. Do you remember the light bulb moment behind establishing the Institute of Curiosity and Curating? So this is my new project. Yeah, the light bulb moment actually came from a couple of different sources. I've always thought about how actually it was really difficult to get into curating, to understand what on earth is curating, and when you're within it, the transferable skills that then allow you to go into all different kind of parts of arts and culture, management, development, realization, and just life skills actually that it gives you as well. And I've been really fortunate to have run a couple of projects where we've had some amazing emerging creatives who have joined us in kind of assistant curatorial roles, who have then gone on to obviously do amazing, brilliant things, but just seeing them grow within that understanding of what it is to sort of be an exhibition maker, I guess, if we use curating in that phrase. So the Institute of Curiosity and Curating is to kind of amplify that experience. And I actually had a life coach, and she advised me to sort of think through a project that I'd like to realise, like what is it that I want to do, and I sort of wrote this out, and then I sent it to an artist and curator friend in New York, John Ross, and they came back and said, think bigger, be more ambitious. Why would you just do this once over 6 months? Is this a job? Is this a career? Is this an institute? And that is where the Institute of Curiosity and Curating came from, and we will see how it develops. Podcast first, so getting my podcast voice ready. And this is my last one. This has been really fun to do. Ooh, 2 came out then. Tell us about your experience commissioning the ITV Creates Idents. This was a ridiculously dream project. Being able to curate, commission, collaborate with over 70 artists, artist groups and people over a 3-year project to realise the main idents on the main ITV channel. Amazing. There were a couple of things that I found challenging. ITV didn't really know what their style was or what their taste was, so having to help them define that. I think I must have presented over 200 artists to them, especially at the beginning, to kind of go, okay, what are you responding to? What are your tastes? And then after that, it was much easier to bring artists to them that I knew they'd be interested in. On a personal note, I really wanted it to be artists that perhaps weren't so mainstream, that kind of had a great reputation for what they were doing and were really known in the sector, but perhaps wider audiences hadn't known them yet, or were yet to encounter their work. And that was really important for me to kind of amplify these artists that are doing really, really good things around the country and putting them on a huge platform where millions of people were seeing their work every day, several times a day. And that was wonderful. And another wonderful thing for me actually was when the artists saw their work through the camera lens and their reactions to it, and kind of going, oh my God, look, I did that, I made that, that looks so good. And seeing their pride as well was something that I loved. Yeah, dream projects. Would do again, ITV, call me. That's it, those are my 5. Thank you so much for mixing it up with me today. You can find out more about the Institute at our website, instcc.com. So Institute Curiosity and Curating. And the same with our socials, it's at instcc_. We are on Instagram and TikTok, so come check us out there. For me, you can find me on my website at charlielevine.org.